I sat at the edge of my bed, staring at my phone. The screen was dark. Empty. Silent. It was my birthday. I had been waiting all day. All day. For a single call. A text. A message. Anything. But there was nothing. Just silence. The kind of silence that fills your chest and squeezes until you can't breathe. I kept checking my phone every few minutes. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it didn't go through. Maybe they were planning a surprise. But deep down, I knew. They forgot. My own family forgot me. I'm Emma. 26 years old. And today was supposed to be my day. But instead, I sat alone in my apartment, watching the hours pass by like ghosts. The morning started normal. I woke up with a small flutter of hope in my chest. Maybe this year would be different. Maybe they'd remember without me having to remind them. I made myself coffee. I wore my favorite dress. The blue one with the white flowers. I even put on a little makeup. Just in case someone showed up. But no one did. By noon, I was still staring at my phone. My thumb hovered over my mom's contact. Should I call her? Should I remind her? No. I wanted them to remember on their own. I wanted to matter enough that they wouldn't forget. So I waited. I sat on my couch and waited. The sun moved across my living room floor. The light changed from gold to orange to gray. And still, nothing. I opened Instagram. Big mistake. There, right at the top of my feed, was a post from my mother. A photo of my younger sister, Lily. She was smiling, holding a bouquet of flowers. The caption read, "So proud of my beautiful girl today. You light up our lives every single day. We love you endlessly." I stared at it. My throat tightened. My eyes burned. It wasn't even Lily's birthday. It was just a random Tuesday. But there she was, getting all the love and attention that I had been waiting for all day. I scrolled further. Another post from my dad. Same picture. Different caption, "My princess. Always and forever." I locked my phone and threw it on the couch. My hands were shaking. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But instead, I just sat there. Numb. Forgotten. Invisible. If you're listening to this story, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your support means everything to me. The evening came. I hadn't eaten all day. I wasn't hungry. I just felt hollow. Around 7, my phone buzzed. My heart jumped. Finally. I grabbed it so fast I almost dropped it. It was a text from my best friend, Clara. "Happy birthday, Em. Sorry I've been MIA today. Work was insane. Let's celebrate this weekend?" I smiled. At least someone remembered. I typed back a thank you. But even Clara's message couldn't fill the emptiness left by my family's silence. At 8, I decided to call my mom. Maybe she'd realize. Maybe she'd apologize. Maybe she'd feel bad. The phone rang 3 times before she picked up. "Hello?" Her voice was light. Cheerful. Unbothered. "Hey, Mom," I said. My voice cracked a little. "Oh, Emma. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?" I paused. "How are you?" Not happy birthday. Not I'm so sorry. Just how are you? "I'm okay," I lied. "That's good. Listen, I'm in the middle of helping Lily with something. Can I call you back later?" My stomach dropped. "Sure," I whispered. "Great. Love you, bye." She hung up before I could say anything else. I sat there holding my phone, staring at the screen. She didn't remember. She didn't even pause. She didn't ask why I called. She just moved on. Like I didn't matter. I put my phone down and stared at the ceiling. The tears came then. Hot and fast. I cried until my chest hurt. Until my eyes were swollen. Until I couldn't cry anymore. And then, in the quiet that followed, something shifted inside me. The sadness turned into something else. Something colder. Sharper. Anger. I wiped my face. I stood up. I walked to the mirror and looked at myself. My eyes were red. My makeup was smeared. But behind all of that, I saw something new. Determination. They forgot me. They chose her over me. Again. But this time, I wasn't going to let it slide. This time, I was going to do something about it. I didn't know what yet. But I knew one thing for sure. They would remember this birthday. Even if it killed me. I went to bed that night with a plan forming in my mind. A plan that would change everything. A plan that would make them see me. Really see me. And when they did, they'd regret ever forgetting me. I woke up the next morning with a strange sense of calm. The kind of calm that comes after a storm. My eyes were still puffy from crying. My body was heavy. But my mind was clear. I knew exactly what I had to do. I got up, showered, and dressed in something simple. Black jeans. A white t-shirt. No makeup. I didn't need to look pretty for this. I just needed to look present. Real. I grabbed my keys and my phone. I didn't check social media. I didn't look at my messages. I just walked out the door. The drive to my parents' house took 20 minutes. I had made this drive 1,000 times. But today, it felt different. Every mile felt heavier. Every turn felt sharper. By the time I pulled into the driveway, my heart was pounding. I sat in the car for a moment. Breathing. Preparing. Then I saw her. Lily. She was standing in the front yard, laughing on the phone. Her blonde hair was shining in the sunlight. She looked so carefree. So loved. So unaware. I got out of the car. She looked up. Her smile faltered. Emma, she said, lowering her phone. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I just walked past her toward the front door. Wait, what are you doing here? She called after me. I didn't answer. I opened the door and stepped inside. The house smelled like coffee and vanilla. Mom's favorite candle. I could hear voices in the kitchen. Mom. Dad. Talking. Laughing. I walked toward the sound. My footsteps were soft on the hardwood floor. When I reached the kitchen doorway, I stopped. They were sitting at the table. Mom was scrolling on her phone. Dad was reading the newspaper. Neither of them noticed me. I cleared my throat. Mom looked up. Her eyes widened. Emma. Oh my God, you scared me. Dad glanced over his newspaper. Hey, kiddo. What brings you by? I stood there. Silent. Staring at them. Mom frowned. Is everything okay? I let the silence stretch. Let it fill the room. Let it make them uncomfortable. Finally, I spoke. Do you know what yesterday was? Mom blinked. Yesterday? Tuesday? I nodded slowly. And? She looked confused. Dad put down his newspaper. Emma, what's going on? I took a breath. It was my birthday. The room went silent. Mom's face went pale. Dad's mouth opened slightly. "Oh my God," Mom whispered. She stood up. "Emma, you forgot," I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I've just been so busy with Lily," I finished. Mom froze. "That's not fair," she said quietly. "Isn't it?" I pulled out my phone. I opened Instagram. I turned the screen toward her. "You posted about her yesterday. On my birthday. You called her your beautiful girl. You said she lights up your life." Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Emma, please, where was my post, Mom?" She didn't answer. Dad stood up. "Emma, we made a mistake. We're sorry. But you don't need to make this into a big deal." I interrupted. I looked at him. "That's exactly what you think, isn't it? That it's not a big deal." "That's not what you forgot me," I said. My voice broke. "Your own daughter. You forgot me." Mom reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I waited all day," I said. "I waited for a call. A text. Anything. And you gave me nothing." "We'll make it up to you," Mom said. "We'll take you to dinner." I don't want dinner," I said. "Then what do you want?" Dad asked. I looked at both of them. And then I smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. It was something else. Something darker. "I want you to understand what it feels like to be forgotten." Mom's face went white. "What do you mean?" I didn't answer. I turned and walked out of the kitchen. I could hear them calling after me. But I didn't stop. I walked out the front door. Past Lily, who was still standing in the yard. She looked scared. "Emma, what did you do?" I got in my car. I started the engine. And I drove away. But I wasn't going home. I was going somewhere else. Somewhere they'd never expect. Because my revenge had just begun. And they had no idea what was coming. I drove for an hour. Maybe more. I wasn't keeping track. I just needed to move. To think. To plan. The anger inside me was still there. But now it was controlled. Focused. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I pulled into a parking lot outside a small cafe. I sat there for a moment. Staring at the steering wheel. My hands were still shaking. Not from fear. From adrenaline. I grabbed my phone. I opened my contacts. I scrolled until I found the name I was looking for. Aunt Rachel. My mom's older sister. She and my mom hadn't spoken in years. Some family drama I never fully understood. But I knew one thing. Rachel didn't like how my mom treated me. She told me once, years ago, that I deserved better. I hit call. It rang twice. "Emma?" Her voice was surprised. Warm. "Hi, Aunt Rachel. Oh my God, it's so good to hear from you. How are you?" I paused. "I need your help." There was a beat of silence. "What's wrong?" I took a breath. And then I told her everything. About my birthday. About being forgotten. About the Instagram post. About the phone call with my mom. About how I felt invisible. Rachel listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I'm so sorry, Emma. You didn't deserve that." "I know. What do you need from me?" I smiled. "I need you to come to dinner tomorrow night." "Dinner?" "At my parents' house." Rachel laughed. A short, sharp sound. You know your mom won't want me there. I know. Then why? Because I'm going to make them see me, I said. And I need you there to make sure they can't ignore what I have to say. Rachel was silent again. Then she said, I'll be there. Thank you. Emma? Yeah? Whatever you're planning, be careful. I hung up. I leaned back in my seat. Step 1 was done. Now for step 2. I drove to Lily's apartment. She lived 20 minutes from my parents. In a nice building. Paid for by them, of course. I parked outside and texted her. We need to talk. 3 dots appeared immediately. I'm not home. I smiled. Yes, you are. I'm outside. A minute passed. Then the door to the building opened. Lily stepped out. She looked nervous. Good. She walked over to my car. I rolled down the window. Get in, I said. Emma, I don't think you'd get in. She hesitated. Then she opened the passenger door and slid inside. She didn't look at me. What do you want? She asked. I want to know why. Why what? Why you're always the favorite. Lily's head snapped toward me. That's not fair. Isn't it? Emma, I didn't ask for this. But you take it, I said. You take all the attention. All the love. All the posts and the praise and the flowers. And you never once think about how it makes me feel. That's not true, Lily said. Her voice was shaking. I think about you all the time. Then why didn't you remind them? She blinked. What? Yesterday. My birthday. You knew. You've always known. Why didn't you remind them? Lily looked away. I didn't think, exactly, I said. You didn't think. Because you never have to. Everything just comes to you. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to beg for it. It's just there. Emma, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it. Lily wiped her eyes. Then what do you want me to do? I looked at her. Really looked at her. She looked so small. So scared. Part of me felt bad. But the other part, the part that had been hurt and ignored and forgotten, didn't care. I want you to come to dinner tomorrow night, I said. Why? Because I'm going to tell them the truth. And I need you to hear it too. What truth? I didn't answer. I just stared at her until she looked away. Fine, she whispered. I'll be there. Good. She got out of the car without another word. I watched her walk back into her building. Then I drove away. Step 2 was done. Now for the hardest part. I spent the rest of the day preparing. I went home. I cleaned my apartment. I made a list. I wrote down everything I wanted to say. Every hurt. Every moment I felt invisible. Every time I was pushed aside for Lily. The list was long. Longer than I expected. By the time I finished, it was dark outside. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the pages in front of me. My chest felt tight. My hands were cold. But I didn't cry. I was done crying. I folded the pages and put them in my bag. Then I went to bed. I barely slept. I kept replaying the plan in my head. Over and over. What I would say. How they would react. What would happen after. When morning came, I felt exhausted. But also ready. I got dressed. Black pants. A white blouse. Simple. Professional. I wanted to look put together. In control. I grabbed my bag and left. The drive to my parents' house felt longer than usual. Every stoplight felt like an eternity. Every mile felt like a mountain. But I didn't turn back. I couldn't. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw Rachel's car already parked there. Good. She kept her word. I took a deep breath. Then I got out. I walked to the front door. I didn't knock. I just walked in. The smell of roasted chicken filled the house. Mom's signature dish. I walked into the dining room. Everyone was already there. Mom, Dad, Lily, and Rachel. They all looked up when I entered. Mom's smile was strained. Emma, you're here. I nodded. I set my bag down on the table. Let's eat, I said. Dinner was awkward. No one knew what to say. Mom kept trying to make small talk. Dad kept glancing at Rachel. Lily kept staring at her plate. Rachel just watched me. Waiting. Finally, after the main course was finished, I stood up. I have something to say. Mom's smile faltered. Emma, maybe we should. No, I said. My voice was firm. You're going to listen. The room went silent. I reached into my bag. I pulled out the pages I had written. I unfolded them. And I began to read. I have spent my entire life feeling invisible in this family. Mom opened her mouth. I held up my hand. Let me finish. She closed her mouth. I continued. When I was 10, I won a writing contest at school. I was so excited to tell you. But when I came home, Lily had just made the cheerleading team. You threw her a party. You didn't even ask about my contest. I looked at Lily. She was crying. I looked back at my parents. When I graduated college, you missed my ceremony because Lily had a dance recital. Mom's face went pale. When I got my first job, you said that's nice and then spent an hour talking about Lily's new boyfriend. Dad looked down. And 2 days ago, on my birthday, you forgot me completely. But you posted about Lily. You called her your beautiful girl. You said she lights up your life. My voice cracked. What about me? Don't I light up your life? Don't I matter? Mom was crying now. Emma, of course you matter, then why don't you act like it? Silence. I folded the pages. I put them back in my bag. I came here today to tell you that I'm done. Done? Dad asked. I'm done trying to earn your love. I'm done competing with Lily. I'm done being invisible. Emma, please, I'm not cutting you off, I said. But I'm not going to keep breaking my heart trying to get you to notice me. I looked at Rachel. She nodded. I picked up my bag. If you want a relationship with me, you're going to have to work for it. Because I'm done doing all the work. I turned to leave. Emma, wait, but I didn't wait. I walked out. I got in my car. And I drove away. Behind me, I could hear my mom crying. But I didn't look back. Because for the first time in my life, I chose me. And that was enough. I didn't go home right away. I couldn't. I was shaking too hard. My heart was pounding in my chest like a drum. I drove to the park near my apartment. The one with the lake and the walking trails. I parked the car and just sat there. Staring at the water. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. It was beautiful. But I barely saw it. All I could see was their faces. My mom's tears. My dad's shock. Lily's guilt. Rachel's quiet pride. I had done it. I had said everything I needed to say. But I didn't feel victorious. I just felt empty. Like I had finally let go of something I'd been carrying for so long, and now I didn't know what to do with my hands. I pulled out my phone. I had 7 missed calls. 3 from Mom. 2 from Dad. 2 from Lily. I also had a dozen text messages. I scrolled through them slowly. Mom, Emma, please come back. We need to talk. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how badly we hurt you. Mom, please don't shut us out. Dad, you're right. We failed you. Let us make it right. Lily, I'm so sorry, Em. I didn't know you felt this way. Lily, please talk to me. I stared at the messages. Part of me wanted to respond. To forgive them. To go back and hug my mom and tell her it was okay. But it wasn't okay. And I wasn't ready to pretend it was. So I turned off my phone. I got out of the car. And I walked. I walked around the lake until the sun disappeared completely. Until the stars came out. Until my legs were tired and my mind was quiet. By the time I got home, it was past 10. I unlocked my apartment door and stepped inside. The silence was heavy. But it wasn't suffocating. It was just there. I dropped my bag on the couch. I kicked off my shoes. I walked to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were red. My face was pale. But there was something different. Something I hadn't seen in a long time. Strength. I had stood up for myself. I had spoken my truth. And I had walked away. That took courage. More courage than staying ever would. I washed my face. I brushed my teeth. I changed into my pajamas. And then I climbed into bed. I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep. But I was wrong. I fell asleep almost immediately. And for the first time in years, I didn't dream about them. I didn't dream at all. I woke up the next morning to sunlight streaming through my window. I lay there for a moment. Just breathing. Feeling. I felt lighter. Like a weight had been lifted off my chest. I got up and made coffee. I sat by the window and watched the city wake up. People walking their dogs. Cars honking. Life moving forward. And I realized something. I had spent so much of my life waiting for my family to see me. To validate me. To love me the way I needed to be loved. But I didn't need their validation. I already knew my worth. I had always known it. I just let their blindness make me doubt it. But not anymore. I was done doubting. I was done waiting. I was done shrinking myself to fit into their idea of who I should be. From now on, I was going to live for me. I was going to celebrate my own birthdays. Post my own accomplishments. Love myself the way I deserved to be loved. And if they wanted to be part of that, they'd have to earn it. I finished my coffee. I got dressed. And I decided to do something I hadn't done in a long time. I decided to treat myself. I went to my favorite bookstore. I bought 3 new novels. I went to a cafe and had the most expensive latte on the menu. I went to the park and sat on a bench and read for 2 hours. I didn't check my phone. I didn't think about my family. I just existed. And it felt incredible. By the time I got home that evening, I felt like a different person. A better person. A person who knew her worth. I turned my phone back on. More messages. More missed calls. But this time, I didn't feel guilty. I scrolled through them calmly. Most were from my mom. A few from Lily. 1 from my dad. And 1 from Rachel. I opened Rachel's message first. I'm proud of you, Emma. You did the right thing. If you need anything, I'm here. I smiled. I typed back, "Thank you. That means everything." Then I looked at the messages from my family. I didn't respond. Not yet. I needed more time. Time to heal. Time to figure out what I wanted. Time to decide if I even wanted them in my life anymore. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure. I had spent so long trying to be enough for them. And now I realized I didn't need to be. I was already enough. With or without them. A week passed. Then 2. My family kept reaching out. But I didn't respond. I wasn't ignoring them out of spite. I was protecting myself. I needed space to rebuild. To remember who I was without them. During those 2 weeks, I did a lot of thinking. A lot of journaling. A lot of crying. But also a lot of healing. I started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Miles. She was kind and patient. She didn't judge me. She just listened. And she helped me see things more clearly. "You're not responsible for their feelings," she told me one session. "But I hurt them," I said. "Did you?" I paused. I made my mom cry. "Emma, your mom cried because she realized she hurt you. That's not your fault. That's hers." I looked down at my hands. I just feel so guilty. Why? Because I'm supposed to love them no matter what. Dr. Miles leaned forward. Love doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. Love is a two-way street. If they're not willing to meet you halfway, you're allowed to walk away. Those words stayed with me. Love is a two-way street. For so long, I had been walking alone. Carrying the weight of the relationship by myself. And I was tired. So tired. By the end of the second week, I made a decision. I was going to respond to my family. But on my terms. I sat down at my kitchen table. I opened my laptop. And I wrote an email. It took me 3 hours. I rewrote it 4 times. But when I finally finished, I knew it was right. The email said, "Mom, Dad, and Lily, I've taken the past 2 weeks to think about everything that happened. I need you to understand that this isn't about one forgotten birthday. It's about a lifetime of feeling invisible. A lifetime of being second. A lifetime of wondering why I'm not enough. I don't want to cut you out of my life. But I also can't keep pretending that everything is okay when it's not. If you want a relationship with me, things need to change. I need you to see me. Really see me. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when Lily isn't around. But always. I need you to celebrate me the way you celebrate her. I need you to ask about my life. My dreams. My struggles. I need you to show up for me the way I've always shown up for you. If you're willing to do that, I'm willing to try. But if you're not, I need you to respect my decision to step back. I love you. I always will. But I love myself too. And I can't keep sacrificing my own happiness for yours. Emma, I read it 3 more times. Then I hit send. And I waited. The response came faster than I expected. Less than an hour later, my mom called. I almost didn't answer. But I did. "Hello? Emma." Her voice was thick with tears. "I got your email." I didn't say anything. "You're right," she said. "About everything." I felt my throat tighten. "I've been a terrible mother to you," she continued. "I let Lily take up all my attention. I let your father and I prioritize her because she was louder. More demanding. And I thought you were fine. I thought you didn't need us as much." "I did need you," I whispered. "I know," she said. "And I'm so sorry." I closed my eyes. "I want to make this right," she said. "I want to be the mother you deserve." But I don't know how. I need you to tell me. I took a breath. I need you to show up, I said. For my life. Not just the big moments. The small ones too. I need you to ask me how I'm doing. What I'm working on. What makes me happy. I need you to see me as more than just your daughter. I need you to see me as a person. I will, she said. I promise. And I need you to stop comparing me to Lily. I will. And I need you to celebrate me. Not just when I achieve something big. But just because I'm me. Mom was crying now. I will, Emma. I will do all of that. I swear. I felt tears sliding down my own cheeks. Okay, I said. Okay? Okay. We sat in silence for a moment. Just breathing. Just being. Can I see you? Mom asked. Soon, I said. But not yet. I need a little more time. Okay, she said. I understand. We said goodbye. And when I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Another week passed. This time, I got a call from Lily. I hesitated before answering. But I picked up. Emma? Her voice was small. Fragile. Hi, Lily. Can we talk? In person? I thought about it. Okay. When? Tomorrow. Noon. At the cafe on Maple Street. I'll be there. She hung up. I stared at my phone. I wasn't sure what to expect. But I knew I needed to hear what she had to say. The next day, I arrived at the cafe early. I ordered a coffee and sat by the window. At exactly noon, Lily walked in. She looked different. Tired. Older. She saw me and walked over. Hi, she said. Hi. She sat down across from me. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then Lily spoke. I'm sorry. I waited. I'm sorry for being selfish. For taking up all the space. For not thinking about how it affected you. I looked down at my coffee. I didn't realize how much I hurt you until you said it out loud, she continued. And I hate that I didn't see it sooner. Why didn't you? I asked. Lily looked at me. Her eyes were full of tears. Because I was scared. Scared of what? That if I wasn't the favorite, they wouldn't love me at all. I blinked. What? I know it sounds stupid, Lily said. But it's true. I've always felt like I had to be perfect. Like I had to be the best at everything. Because if I wasn't, they'd stop paying attention to me. I stared at her. I never thought about what it was doing to you, she said. I was too busy trying to keep their attention. I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, Emma, Lily said. I really am. And I want to make it up to you. If you'll let me. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And I saw something I hadn't seen before. Pain. She was hurting too. Just in a different way. Okay, I said. Okay? Okay. But things have to change. They will, she said. I promise. We talked for another hour. About everything. About our childhood. About our parents. About the ways we both felt trapped by their expectations. It wasn't easy. But it was honest. And for the first time in years, I felt like I had my sister back. Over the next few months, things slowly started to change. Mom called me every week. Not just to check in. But to really talk. She asked about my job. My hobbies. My dreams. She even started sending me random texts. Thinking of you. Hope you're having a good day. Love you. It was small. But it mattered. Dad was slower to come around. But he tried. He invited me to lunch. Just the two of us. We talked about work. About life. About the ways he wished he'd been a better father. It wasn't perfect. But it was a start. Lily and I started meeting for coffee every few weeks. We talked about everything. And slowly, we rebuilt our relationship. Not as rivals. But as sisters. And Rachel? She became one of my closest friends. She checked in on me constantly. She reminded me of my worth. She celebrated my victories. And she held me when I needed to cry. By the time my next birthday came around, I was in a completely different place. I woke up that morning to a text from Mom. Happy birthday, my beautiful Emma. I'm so proud of the woman you are. Then one from Dad. Happy birthday, kiddo. Love you. Then Lily. Happy birthday, sis. Can't wait to celebrate with you tonight. And finally, Rachel. Happy birthday, Emma. You deserve all the joy in the world. I sat in bed, reading the messages over and over. My eyes filled with tears. But this time, they were happy tears. They remembered. They all remembered. I got up and got ready for the day. I wore my favorite dress. The blue one with the white flowers. The same one I wore last year. But this time, it felt different. This time, I wasn't waiting for someone to notice me. I was celebrating myself. I went to my favorite coffee shop. I ordered a latte and a croissant. I sat by the window and watched the world go by. My phone buzzed constantly. Messages from friends. From coworkers. From people who cared about me. I responded to each one with a smile. Around noon, Clara called. Happy birthday, babe. I'm picking you up at 7. We're going out. I laughed. Where are we going? It's a surprise. Just be ready. Okay. And Emma? Yeah? I'm proud of you. For everything you did this year. My throat tightened. Thank you. Love you. Love you too. I hung up and stared at my phone. A year ago, I was sitting alone in my apartment. Waiting for someone to remember. Someone to care. And now, my phone was filled with messages from people who loved me. It was overwhelming in the best way. At 3, I went to my parents' house. Mom had insisted on making me a birthday lunch. Just family. Just us. When I arrived, the house smelled like garlic and basil. Mom's famous pasta. I walked into the kitchen. Mom was at the stove. Dad was setting the table. Lily was chopping vegetables. They all looked up when I walked in. Happy birthday, they said in unison. I smiled. A real smile. Thank you. Mom rushed over and hugged me. I'm so glad you're here. Me too. We sat down to eat. The conversation was light. Easy. Normal. But there was something different about it. They were asking me questions. About my life. My work. My plans. They were listening. Really listening. After lunch, Mom brought out a cake. It was covered in blue and white frosting. My favorite colors. Make a wish, she said. I closed my eyes. And I wished for this. For this feeling. For this family. For this version of us that actually worked. I blew out the candles. Everyone cheered. Lily handed me a gift. This is from all of us. I opened it carefully. Inside was a photo album. I flipped through the pages. Photos of me. From when I was a baby. To now. Every birthday. Every achievement. Every moment. Mom had written little notes next to each photo. Emma's first steps. Emma's first day of school. Emma winning the writing contest. I looked up at her. She was crying. "I'm sorry I didn't celebrate these moments the way I should have," she said. "But I'm celebrating them now. All of them." I couldn't speak. I just hugged her. We stood there for a long time. Just holding each other. When we finally let go, Dad cleared his throat. "We have something else for you." He handed me an envelope. I opened it. Inside were tickets. 2 plane tickets. "Where are these two?" I asked. "Paris," Mom said. "You've always wanted to go. And I'm coming with you." I stared at her. "What?" "Just you and me," she said. "A mother-daughter trip. No distractions. No Lily. No Dad. Just us." My eyes filled with tears. "Are you serious?" "Completely." I looked at the tickets again. The dates were for 2 months away. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Mom said. I laughed through my tears. "Yes. Yes, of course." She hugged me again. And this time, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. I felt loved. That evening, Clara picked me up for dinner. She took me to my favorite restaurant. The one with the rooftop view of the city. We ordered wine and pasta and dessert. We talked and laughed and celebrated. "You look happy," Clara said. "I am," I said. "Really happy." "Good. You deserve it." "I know." Clara raised her glass. "To Emma. The strongest woman I know." I raised mine. "To new beginnings." We clinked glasses. And I meant it. This was a new beginning. Not just with my family. But with myself. I had learned something this year. Something important. I learned that I didn't need anyone's validation to know my worth. I learned that it was okay to walk away from people who didn't see me. Even if they were family. I learned that love should never feel like a competition. And I learned that the most important relationship I'd ever have was the one with myself. When I got home that night, I stood in front of my mirror. I looked at myself. Really looked. And I saw someone strong. Someone brave. Someone who fought for herself. Someone who didn't give up. I smiled. "Happy birthday, Emma," I whispered. And I meant it. This birthday was nothing like the last one. Last year, I was forgotten. Invisible. Alone. But this year, I was seen. Celebrated. Loved. Not because I begged for it. But because I demanded it. And that made all the difference. I crawled into bed that night feeling more at peace than I had in years. My revenge wasn't about hurting my family. It was about saving myself. It was about refusing to be invisible anymore. It was about choosing me. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. Because I was worth it. I had always been worth it. I just needed to believe it. And now I did. The next morning, I woke up to a new message. It was from my mom. "Thank you for giving us another chance. I promise I won't waste it." I smiled. I typed back, "I know you won't." And I believed her. Because people can change. If they want to. If they're willing to do the work. And my family was willing. Over the next few months, our relationship continued to grow. Mom and I started having weekly phone calls. Not just quick check-ins. But real conversations. She told me about her own childhood. About how she felt overlooked by her parents. About how she never wanted that for her kids. But somewhere along the way, she repeated the same pattern. I didn't mean to, she said one night. I know, I told her. But you did. And it hurt. I know. But I forgive you. She was quiet for a moment. Really? Really? Thank you, Emma. You're welcome. It wasn't easy. There were still hard days. Days when old patterns tried to creep back in. Days when Lily got more attention. Days when I felt myself slipping back into invisibility. But the difference was, I didn't stay silent. I spoke up. Every time. Mom, I need you to hear me right now. Dad, I feel like you're not listening. Lily, I need space. And they listened. They adjusted. They tried. And that was all I needed. I didn't need perfection. I just needed effort. Dad and I started having monthly lunches. Just the two of us. At first, they were awkward. He didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to share. But slowly, we found our rhythm. He asked about my job. I told him about my projects. He asked about my hobbies. I told him about the painting class I started taking. He asked about my dreams. And I told him the truth. I want to write a book. He looked surprised. A book? Yeah. About my life. About what I went through. I think it might help other people who feel invisible. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I think that's a wonderful idea. Really? Really. And I'll be the first one to buy it. I smiled. Thanks, Dad. I mean it, Emma. I'm proud of you. Those words. I had waited my whole life to hear them. And now that I had, they felt even better than I imagined. Lily and I grew closer too. We started texting almost every day. Stupid stuff mostly. Memes. Funny videos. Random thoughts. But it was nice. It felt like we were finally becoming the sisters we were supposed to be. One afternoon, she called me crying. What's wrong? I asked. Mom and Dad are fighting about me again. About what? About my career. Dad wants me to go back to school. Mom wants me to keep dancing. And I don't know what I want. I listened as she cried. Lily, what do you want? I don't know. Yes, you do. You're just scared to say it. She was quiet. I want to teach, she finally said. Dancing. I want to teach kids how to dance. But I don't think that's good enough for them. It doesn't matter what's good enough for them, I said. It matters what's good enough for you. But what if they're disappointed? Then they're disappointed. But at least you'll be happy. Lily was silent for a long time. When did you get so wise? She finally asked. I laughed. I've always been wise. You just never asked. She laughed too. Thank you, Emma. Anytime. A few weeks later, Lily announced she was enrolling in a teaching program. Mom was hesitant. Dad was skeptical. But I was proud. You're doing the right thing, I told her. I hope so. I know so. And I did. Because I had learned that the only person you need to live for is yourself. Everyone else is secondary. The trip to Paris with my mom came faster than I expected. 2 months flew by. Before I knew it, we were boarding a plane. I was nervous. A week alone with my mom. Just the two of us. What if we ran out of things to talk about? What if old wounds resurfaced? What if it was a disaster? But it wasn't. It was perfect. We spent our days walking through museums. eating croissants at tiny cafes, strolling along the Seine. We talked about everything. Her childhood. My childhood. Her regrets. My dreams. One evening, we sat at a restaurant overlooking the Eiffel Tower. The sun was setting. The sky was pink and gold. Mom reached across the table and took my hand. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For not giving up on me." I squeezed her hand. "Thank you for not giving up on us." She smiled. "I love you, Emma. I know I didn't always show it. But I do. I always have. I love you too, Mom." We sat there for a long time. Just holding hands. Just being. And I realized something. This was the moment I had been waiting for. Not revenge. Not validation. But this. Connection. Love. Healing. When we got back from Paris, I felt different. Lighter. Happier. More whole. I started writing my book. Every night after work, I'd sit at my laptop and write. I wrote about my childhood. About feeling invisible. About my forgotten birthday. About my revenge. About the healing that came after. It was hard. Some nights, I cried while writing. Other nights, I laughed. But every night, I felt a little more free. Like I was releasing something I'd been holding onto for too long. 6 months later, I finished the first draft. I sent it to a few publishers. Most of them rejected it. But one didn't. A small publishing house loved it. They wanted to publish it. They wanted to share my story with the world. I couldn't believe it. My dream was coming true. The book was published a year later. It was called Invisible No More, a story of healing and self-love. The launch party was small. Just close friends and family. Mom, Dad, Lily, Rachel, and Clara were all there. They each gave a speech. Mom talked about how proud she was. Dad talked about my strength. Lily talked about how I inspired her. Rachel talked about my courage. And Clara talked about my resilience. When it was my turn to speak, I looked around the room. At all the people who loved me. Who saw me. Who celebrated me. And I felt overwhelmed with gratitude. "Thank you all for being here," I said. This book is about a lot of things. Pain. Betrayal. Anger. But mostly, it's about healing. It's about learning to love yourself even when the people around you don't. It's about refusing to be invisible. And it's about the power of second chances. I looked at my family. A year and a half ago, I was in the darkest place of my life. I felt forgotten. Unloved. Invisible. But instead of staying there, I fought. I spoke up. I chose myself. And that changed everything. I paused. This book is for anyone who's ever felt invisible. For anyone who's ever been overlooked. For anyone who's ever had to fight for their place in someone's life. You are not alone. You are seen. And you are enough. Everyone clapped. I looked down at the book in my hands. My name was on the cover. My story was inside. And for the first time in my life, I felt truly seen. The book did well. Better than I expected. People reached out to me from all over. Telling me their stories. Thanking me for writing mine. Telling me how much it helped them. One message stood out. It was from a woman named Sarah. She said, "I just finished your book and I'm crying. I've felt invisible my whole life. My parents always favored my brother. I thought something was wrong with me. But your book made me realize it's not my fault. Thank you for sharing your story. It gave me the courage to speak up for myself." I read that message 5 times. And I realized something. My pain had a purpose. My story mattered. Not just for me, but for others. And that made everything worth it. Today, my relationship with my family is better than it's ever been. It's not perfect. We still have hard days. We still have misunderstandings. But we talk about them. We work through them. And we don't let them fester. Mom and I are closer than ever. We talk almost every day. She asks about my life. I ask about hers. We support each other. We celebrate each other. And we love each other. Dad and I have our monthly lunches. He still doesn't always know what to say. But he tries. And that's enough. Lily and I are best friends now. We support each other's dreams. We celebrate each other's wins. And we're there for each other during the losses. She's thriving as a dance teacher. She loves it. And I couldn't be more proud. Rachel is still my rock. She calls me every week. She reminds me of my worth. She celebrates my victories. And she's always there when I need her. And Clara? She's still my best friend. The one who's been there through it all. The one who never let me feel invisible. The one who reminded me that I mattered. As for me, I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm still writing. I'm working on my second book. I'm still painting. I'm still learning. Still growing. Still healing. And I'm no longer invisible. I'm seen. I'm loved. I'm celebrated. But most importantly, I see myself. I love myself. I celebrate myself. And that's the greatest revenge of all. Not because I hurt anyone, but because I saved myself. Looking back, I don't regret what I did. That day I walked into my parents' house with my list of grievances. That day I chose myself. That day I refused to be invisible anymore. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But it was also the best thing. Because it changed everything. It changed my family. It changed my relationships. It changed me. I learned that you can love someone and still set boundaries. You can forgive someone and still protect yourself. You can give second chances without forgetting the past. And you can choose yourself without being selfish. Those lessons saved my life. And I carry them with me every day. My forgotten birthday wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning. The beginning of me learning to love myself. The beginning of me demanding better. The beginning of me refusing to be invisible. And now, almost 2 years later, I can honestly say I'm grateful. Grateful for the pain. Grateful for the lesson. Grateful for the growth. Because without that forgotten birthday, I never would have found my voice. I never would have written my book. I never would have healed. And I never would have become the woman I am today. So if you're reading this, or listening to this, and you feel invisible, I want you to know something. You're not. You matter. Your feelings matter. Your story matters. And you deserve to be seen. Don't wait for someone else to validate you. Don't wait for someone else to celebrate you. Don't wait for someone else to love you the way you deserve. Do it yourself. Choose yourself. Fight for yourself. Because you are worth it. You have always been worth it. And once you truly believe that, everything changes. I promise. My name is Emma. And I am invisible no more. I'm sitting here now, 2 years after that forgotten birthday, and I'm thinking about how far I've come. How much I've grown. How much I've healed. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to give up. Days I wanted to go back to being invisible because it was easier. Days I wanted to apologize and pretend everything was fine. But I didn't. I kept fighting. For myself. For my worth. For my happiness. And it paid off. Not just in my relationship with my family, but in my relationship with myself. I look in the mirror now and I see someone different. Someone stronger. Someone braver. Someone who knows her worth. Someone who won't settle for less. And that person? That person is enough. More than enough. My revenge wasn't about destroying my family. It was about rebuilding myself. And in the process, I rebuilt them too. We're all better now. Healthier. Happier. More honest. And it all started with me refusing to be forgotten. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is standing up for yourself. Even when it's hard. Even when it hurts. Even when it feels like you're losing everything. Because the truth is, you're not losing anything. You're gaining yourself. And that's the most important thing you'll ever have. I still celebrate my birthday every year. But now, I don't wait for anyone else to make it special. I make it special. I buy myself flowers. I take myself to dinner. I do things that make me happy. And if my family wants to celebrate with me, they're welcome. But if they don't, I'm still okay. Because I've learned that I don't need their validation to be happy. I don't need their approval to be worthy. I don't need their attention to be loved. I am all those things already. With or without them. And that's the most powerful feeling in the world. Last week, my mom called me. I was just thinking, she said. About what? About how grateful I am that you didn't give up on us. I smiled. I'm grateful too. You could have walked away completely. And we would have deserved it. Maybe. But I didn't want to. I wanted to fight for us. And I'm glad I did. Me too. We talked for another hour. About everything and nothing. And when we hung up, I felt at peace. Because this is what healing looks like. It's not perfect. It's not always easy. But it's real. And it's worth it. I'm writing this now because I want you to know that it's never too late. It's never too late to stand up for yourself. It's never too late to demand better. It's never too late to choose yourself. No matter how old you are. No matter how long you've been invisible. No matter how scared you are. You can do it. You can change your story. You can rewrite your ending. You can become the hero of your own life. All you have to do is decide. Decide that you matter. Decide that you're worth it. Decide that you deserve better. And then fight for it. With everything you have. Because you're worth fighting for. You always have been. My forgotten birthday was the worst day of my life. But it was also the best. Because it woke me up. It showed me the truth. And it gave me the courage to change. I don't know where I'd be now if that day never happened. Probably still sitting in silence. Still waiting. Still invisible. But instead, I'm here. Living my best life. Loving myself. Being seen. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. So thank you. To everyone who forgot me. To everyone who overlooked me. To everyone who made me feel invisible. Because you gave me the greatest gift of all. You gave me the motivation to save myself. And for that, I'm forever grateful. My name is Emma. I'm 28 years old. I'm a writer. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. But most importantly, I'm me. And I am enough. I am visible. I am loved. I am worthy. And so are you. Never forget that. Never let anyone make you forget that. You matter. Your story matters. Your life matters. And you deserve to be seen. Always. This is my story. This is my truth. This is my revenge. Not the kind that destroys, but the kind that heals. The kind that transforms. The kind that saves. And if my story can help even one person feel less invisible, then it was all worth it. Every tear. Every painful conversation. Every moment of doubt. All of it. Because this is what matters. Connection. Love. Healing. And the courage to choose yourself. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So if you're feeling invisible right now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to look in the mirror. Really look. And I want you to say these words: I am enough. I am worthy. I am seen. Say them until you believe them. Because they're true. They've always been true. You just needed someone to remind you. And I'm reminding you now. You are not invisible. You never were. You just needed to open your eyes. And now you have. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay silent? Or are you going to speak up? Are you going to stay invisible? Or are you going to demand to be seen? The choice is yours. But I promise you this. If you choose yourself, everything changes. Your relationships change. Your confidence changes. Your entire life changes. And it's the most beautiful, terrifying, amazing thing you'll ever experience. So choose yourself. Fight for yourself. Love yourself. Because you deserve it. You've always deserved it. And it's time you believed it. My forgotten birthday taught me that. And now I'm teaching you. Don't wait for someone else to remember you. Remember yourself. Don't wait for someone else to celebrate you. Celebrate yourself. Don't wait for someone else to love you. Love yourself. Because you are your own greatest gift. And once you realize that, nothing can stop you. Nothing. I'm living proof of that. 2 years ago, I was broken. Forgotten. Invisible. Today, I'm whole. Remembered. Seen. And it's all because I chose myself. I chose to speak up. I chose to demand better. I chose to refuse invisibility. And you can too. Starting right now. This very moment. Make the choice. Choose yourself. And watch your life transform. I promise you won't regret it. I know I don't. My name is Emma. And this is my story. The story of how being forgotten saved my life. The story of how revenge became healing. The story of how I went from invisible to unforgettable. And now, it's your turn. What's your story going to be? The choice is yours. But whatever you choose, remember this. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved. You are seen. You are remembered. You are loved. By me. By the universe. And most importantly, by yourself. So go out there and live your truth. Speak your truth. Be your truth. Because the world needs to see you. The real you. The authentic you. The unforgettable you. And I can't wait to see what you become. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. And remember, you are enough. Always. This is Emma. Signing off. But never fading away. Because I am invisible no more. And neither are you.